They were so good, and I never had anything that tasted that good to be something like that. Hey y'all, it's me, Deja B, and I'm back at it again with another video. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about a little bit about my experiences in Houston and what I learned pretty much from being there, and including things that I wish I knew. So I'm gonna be honest with you, my friend and I planned a trip to Houston. We didn't plan much. We just said, hey, we wanted to go to Houston. We had already wanted to go to Houston for her birthday last year, but COVID happened, so we had to cancel that. And you know, we had the time and opportunity at the same time, so we just went ahead and got that thing going. So like I said, we didn't have any plans. I had little knowledge about Houston really, except like some basic things that I had heard, and I was quite shocked about a few things. For one, I had no idea how huge Houston actually was. Like, they say everything's bigger in Texas, but I didn't know that Houston was literally over three times the size of Charlotte. So for people who have it in their mind that Charlotte might be a big city, you know, now I'm thinking Charlotte is mediocre, small, average at best. At best, because Houston is literally huge. I'm pretty sure it would take an hour to go across the city horizontally, especially with the traffic, but we'll get into that. So in addition to Houston being huge, the highway is actually just as huge. There are probably like 4 to 6 lanes on the highway at any given time. And even though there is that amount of lanes, they do have express lanes too. But when we went Friday, Saturday, during the day, even on Friday during the day, like regular, like normal, you know, it's during business hours, but not what I would think as peak hours, like when people are going to work and when people were leaving work. There was traffic every time we hit the highway. Like, there was some form of traffic, even with 4 to 6 highways. But with Houston being as big as it is, I guess what else can you expect? So another thing, we were supposed to stay more in the heart of Houston, but plans had changed, so we ended up staying a little bit on the outskirts. When you're looking at Houston on a map, we were staying more to like the left side of Houston. I guess that's like the tech or business district. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but that's where we were staying. And I'm gonna tell you right now, it's probably best to just, if you're trying to be cheaper or something, just go ahead and bite the bullet. And it's not really even biting the bullet, because when you think about Uber and Lyft fare or car rental, it's gonna be just as expensive as if you stay in the heart of Houston, where a lot of things are and where the easy way, you know, the easy methods to get to everything is. And you'll probably end up paying the same amount of money for a nice hotel near the heart of Houston as you would paying for a hotel on the outskirts, and having to Lyft / Uber or having a rental car. So that's just something to consider as well, unless you already got, you know, some people you stand with, then bada bing bada boom, you lucky boo. So just to give you an example of what it was like for us traveling via Uber or Lyft, we did Lyft pretty much. So it was about $45 to get to our hotel, and about 45-ish, somewhere around the same price to leave. So that's $90 just to get from the airport to the hotel and back to the airport. And then when we were trying to get to places like the Turkey Leg Hut, the Galleria, the Waffle Bus wasn't that expensive, but anywhere that was more toward the center of Houston, the rides were like in the 20s. Yeah, in the 20s. And then don't even get me started on the nighttime. The nighttime, it was like high 20s and 30s even. And whew, your girl was not prepared. I was not prepared for that. So you know, things went a little differently according to plan because of that. But yeah, that's kind of what the Lyft / Uber bills were looking like. We didn't stay that far from Seismic Art Museum. I think maybe that ride, I didn't pay for that one. I think it might have been like $12 or so. Okay, so another thing, we went in the middle of September, so it wasn't officially fall yet, but you know, it's the time where a lot of states are getting cooler. And when we arrived to Houston, it was hot and humid. So what I've learned upon talking to somebody who actually lives there is that it's usually pretty warm throughout like the winter months. Like that's just how the temperature is. It's usually like maybe 70s or something like that. But there was a cold front the weekend that we went, so it was warm that Friday when we got there, but then Saturday it was cold. It was a very, very chilly. So yeah, Houston is usually pretty warm, so you can be prepared to leave your cold state and go and experience a little bit of, you know, warmth and feel a little free, you know, when you can't get your luxury trip to the Bahamas or, you know, whatever. Next, so the downtown area has different sections. So there is downtown, midtown, and uptown, but some people still refer to all of that as downtown, which I can completely understand why. You know, just because it's different districts or whatever don't mean you gotta call it all of that, but you know, to each their own. So that's just a little tidbit. Midtown does house like the museum / art scene, which is cool, and that is where the Museum of Fine Arts is, where we went. They also have like an African American museum there, and they have like a lot of other, you know, arts museums there. The Museum of Fine Arts has 3 different buildings, which was massive, and it also has like a little shop, like a food, I guess, the area where you can get food, desserts, coffee, tea, hot chocolate, whatever, you know, you can get. You walk around there long enough and then you want to go get you a bite to eat, to be honest. So it was a very cute like little area too. And since they had, you know, some tea, it was nice to get a warm cup of tea, since we went on Saturday. And it was, did we go on Saturday? No, we might have went on Friday. I think we went on Friday when it was still warm, but anyway, it's still nice to have a hot cup of tea to, you know, soothe your throat. Anyway, so for those of you who have any questions about the Metro Rail in Houston, it is a little over 22 miles long. It does kind of go through the heart of downtown, and it does take you into like all the way to uptown. So it takes you through midtown to uptown, which is really cool. We did take the Metro Rail from downtown to midtown to get to the museum, and then we kind of took it a little bit further down because we was trying to get to the turkey leg hut, but I kind of led us a little bit astray. But we still was gonna have to do some walking anyway. We was trying to avoid paying for a lift. We did have a safe ride. Nobody really bothered us or hassled us or anything like that, even though we did speak to a police officer who was like, it might not be that safe, but he also might be a little biased because he's a police officer. And you know, when there are, maybe I should say, like maybe lower income people associate that with trouble, but I ain't gonna get into that. But yeah, he might have had a little bias, but that might also be true. My experience was okay, just fine. It was pretty clean. It wasn't like super dirty, you know, as it was as clean as a public space during the middle of the day is going to be honest with you. But the ride was pretty smooth, and you get to see some of the sights and see what Houston really looks like in that downtown or uptown area. I will say that Houston's downtown area isn't super glamorous. Like when you reach like the heart of downtown, of course they have some of the tall buildings, but once you start riding toward like midtown and uptown, the buildings, like you see a lot of buildings that are closed down, condemned. They didn't look like super damaged or anything, but it wasn't really that glamorous, which I ain't got no problem with, you know. But when you think about like Houston's downtown as opposed to Charlotte's uptown, like I feel like Charlotte's uptown area is like a lot more glamorous in a sense. It's honestly a lot nicer. Charlotte's uptown area, which is our downtown, but we call it uptown. It's nicer. That's just my opinion, but not to say that it looks nicer. That's all I'm saying. So I'm not saying that it's a bad thing that Houston doesn't look super glamorous. It just is what it is, you know? That's just how it looks. Oh, also something that I learned while I was there is that their fish of choice is catfish. So if you're not a catfish eater, don't even think about it, because you're not gonna get no tilapia. Okay, you're not gonna get any tilapia or, you know, cod or, I don't know, whiting. That's, you know, North Carolina's thing. I didn't have any expectations going into Houston, but I was kind of like, dang, like I can't get no flounder. But okay, you know, catfish, if you like catfish, then go to Houston, because that's their specialty. Another big thing was when I was in Houston, I don't know if I was just missing them, but I honestly didn't see a lot of fast food restaurants or chain food restaurants. I saw Whataburger off the highway. I think I saw a McDonald's and maybe a Subway, but other than that, like, those was the only 3 chain food restaurants that I saw. Other than that, you see a lot of like small business owned or like single business type food situations, which I thought was really cool, because yes, support Black owned businesses, and yes, get away from eating fast food all the time. I like that, even though it's a little bit more expensive than, you know, going to McDonald's or Chick-fil-A, whatever your thing is. I like something different, you know. And I did get some things that are very different that I never had in Charlotte, including the Waffle Buzz. If you have not visited the Waffle Buzz and you've been in Houston, you are missing out. I would literally, quite literally, fly to Houston just to go to the Waffle Buzz and get those freaking chicken fritters. They were so good, and I never had anything that tasted that good to be something like that. If I didn't mention this before, which I think I kind of did, but I'm gonna say it explicitly now, stay in the loop. When you look at a map, you see the highway going around Houston, even though Houston extends past the loop, yes, but try to stay within the loop. It's going to be more budget friendly for you. Another thing that I thought was interesting, even though I didn't quite get to experience it, maybe next time, Houston is the type of place that has like a place where you go like to club or party, and then a specific place separately to go to after party. So the club is ending at 2 a.m. and then they're gonna say, hey, the after party is at such and such from, I don't know, 3 to 5 or 3 to 6 or whatever. So that's something that's kind of different that I had not experienced before. Another thing that was pretty cool to me is that Houston seems to have a pretty big art scene, and they have like some very unique art museums, including the Fine Arts Museum, which has 3 buildings. I mean, how many? Like, that was really cool. And they have like an underground tunnel that goes under the street to get you to like another part of the building. So I thought that was really cool. I don't think Charlotte has anything quite like that. And then the Seismic Immersive Art Museum was really cool. Charlotte doesn't have anything like that. Atlanta doesn't have anything quite like that. That was really cool, like better than the Selfie Museum, honestly. Like, it really is a whole experience, and you are immersed in the art, which is really cool. But yeah, you can see my blog for further details. And lastly, the Galleria, which is huge. I already knew that it was huge, but the Galleria has a whole hotel inside of it. Like, that's crazy, for one. I feel like I've heard that Chicago kind of has a mall like that that's connected to an apartment complex or a hotel or something, but that was really cool. And it is huge. It has like 3 or 4 levels. It also has a freaking ice skating rink inside. And another thing, it is a Simon Mall. If you are from Charlotte, then you've probably been to Concord Mills before, and Concord Mills has been a Simon Mall for quite a few years. And I'm a little upset that you don't get quite the same experience at Concord Mills, because Concord Mills is big. Like, it is really big. It wraps around, okay? But you know, why they couldn't put a roller skating rink in or outside? I don't not a roller skating rink, but an ice skating rink in or outside the mall. I don't understand why we can't have that, Simon. Somebody call Simon up and have me speak to him, because I really want to know. But yes, other than that, I think I did get a little preview of the Galleria while I was there. Really big mall, really nice mall, had like really luxury places to buy like jewelry, purses, accessories, clothing, and then they have like the regular stuff like H&M, Forever 21. They had a store called Wave that we went into, which is a really big store, and they have a lot of clothing options, but they don't organize their stuff by size. So that's a place where you really have to look through their stuff, and I just don't have the capacity for that. But yeah, they have like Louis Vuitton, Tiffany & Co, Zara, you know, so that's kind of like the spectrum. Other than that, you know, that is all I have for you. If you guys have any tips on how to navigate Houston, please, you know, comment down below. Let me know if this video was helpful for you, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching. Peace.